Hey guys! Only 7 weeks to Necrom, which means it's time for another tip on how to prepare. My first tip was to make as much space as possible to store all the things you might want when the Arcanist arrives. Thank you for all the lovely feedback on that video. If you haven't watched it yet, do it! It's linked in the description. Tip number 2 is to establish a routine. Little things you can do every day over the coming weeks to boost your gold, crafting materials, transmutes, etc. That's what we've been making the space for. New characters are expensive, especially when the entire server is making them at the same time. Prices will spike, and getting into a routine for a few weeks will save you a ton of time, hassle, and gold. You know what I'm gonna say? Daily crafting rigs. I know, it's not the most fun or exciting content, and this video would be a lot more dramatic if I revealed some amazing galaxy brain giga chad method that nobody knows about. But I'm not here to make clickbait. I want to give you guys advice which is actually realistic and helpful, and the numbers don't lie. Daily raids are insanely profitable. 7 little quests in under a minute, each day, and at the end of the week you'll have 40k gold and 40k XP for minimal effort. That's per character. If you did that on 18 characters every day until Necrom launches, that would be well over 5 million gold and 5 million XP. Not bad, considering the gold and XP aren't even the main rewards. The main reason to do raids is for the surveys and the mountain of gold materials you'll be sitting on. Master raids too. You can sell the ones you don't want, they're pretty valuable. But as I said in the last video, alchemy and non-prismatic enchanting raids would be great for leveling passives, morphs, and all those peripheral things that are a pain on a new character. There's no way to pre-level your Arcanist, but this is the next best thing. The intricate gear drops are also handy if you want to boost crafting as well. I've already stored hundreds of these after just 1 week. But they take up a lot of space, so don't worry too much about this unless you want to get super organized. In which case, follow my advice from last week's video. Most of you have probably been doing raids during the Jubilee for the reward boxes. Maybe just keep it up until Necrom launches, at least when you have the time. I don't, always, but I try to fit them in either first thing in the morning before work, while I have my coffee, listen to the news, or watch something online. Or in the evening after raiding with the guild, we hang out, have a laugh, maybe a glass of wine, and we get our raids done while we talk. And that's another thing, it's such a passive activity, you can do raids fast without really paying any attention, and get other stuff done at the same time, whenever it's convenient. You don't need anyone else. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. If your character doesn't have crafting leveled, or don't have enough skill points, then you have to start from scratch, and won't get as much out of it by the time Necrom arrives. But it's still good advice for the long term, if you plan on playing ESO for a while, and keeping your various characters up to date with each patch. There are some very effective ways to grind in ESO if you want. Looping the first arena in Black Rose Prison, or that chest room in Skyreach for example. These drop XP way faster than raids. There are also faster ways of making gold. But that's not the point here. I'm talking about a routine which you can easily keep up. Daily raids are a slow burn, which will make you millions without you even noticing. Keep your CP rising steadily every week, and level everything you could ever possibly need using the trick from last week's video. And like I said, it's the closest thing we have to pre-leveling new characters. Couple of bonus points. You want max level raids, not just for better rewards, but so you can keep stacks of potions, poisons, and provisions in your bank rather than crafting them every time. That's a massive time saver, but it only works if all characters are doing the top tier. And use add-ons, guys. Sorry console players, but without Dolgobon's lazy raid crafter, even I wouldn't do these. It just takes way too long. What else can you fit into your routine? Well, daily random dungeons are an obvious one, or daily battlegrounds. One of these every day would get you 500 transmute crystals by the time Necrom arrives, not to mention an absolute mountain of XP, and potentially a lot of sticker book stuff as well. It's a bit of a roulette. You can end up with a long dungeon or a useless group, which can be a frustrating experience, but as long as it's on normal, you should be fine. Another massive and often neglected activity is PvP. Getting every character to tier 1 in their home campaign really isn't that hard, especially now that PvP is popping after the EU server upgrade. You just need to have a reasonable PvP build, which I guess is the problem for a lot of people. But if you do this on 18 characters, that's 900 transmutes every month, which is pretty hard to argue with. Finally, join an active PvE guild if you haven't already, and find some fun people to run pledges and trials with. It's easy to forget just how much gold, XP, mats, transmutes, and sticker book stuff we get just from running content regularly. And best of all, it's not a grind. It's just fun gameplay and good practice. Gold and XP are so plentiful in ESO that you could even argue grinding is kinda pointless. The only grind I've ever done is writs. It's all I've ever needed. That's it. Not the most dramatic revelations, just some simple tricks with numbers to back them up. And as I said before, you don't have to do any of it. Do whatever you want. But I've been playing long enough to know this works. If you want to know the best way to level a crafting skill line, like alchemy for example, I can recommend the Benevolent Bode's website. He's got guides for leveling, how to discover alchemy traits in the most efficient way, shopping lists and so on. A really great resource. I've put some links in the description. If you're curious about the Arcanist itself, how good it's gonna be and how to play it, all that stuff is on the way, as well as more tips each week until Necrom launches. In the meantime, I could really use your support. So please subscribe, like, share, and have a wonderful week.